Right, so welcome everyone. Good morning. You guys are waiting, right? Good morning for those watching us for the internet. It's a pleasure to have all of you here. Today we're going to talk about the justice, love, and charity. And Marco Diniz will do it for us. But before that, Livia will do the initial reading and Fabio will do our initial prayer. Thank you, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So, the initial reading is from the book Happy Life by Givaldo Pereira Franco and Joana de Angelis. Whenever you make a commitment, honor it with your presence. Before accepting any task, meditate about it, so as not to put yourself in a disagreeable position. If something comes up which keeps you from appearing or carrying out your task, communicate this beforehand to avoid hurting the person who is waiting for you, or the one who has put their trust in you. Whether they are small or large, carry out all of the obligations that you take on.
Dear God, O Master Jesus, and our friends from the spiritual world, please bless our presentation today and inspire Marco Diniz. May God bring us justice, warm our hearts with love, so He will inspire us to start to charity every day, beginning with ourselves and expanding to our neighbors and the rest of the world. So be it.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I have to say that because the last time I forgot and my wife almost killed me after the lecture. And I don't know, I was so into this. And 1 second here. Okay. So, a month ago, I was here talking about a natural law, right? More specifically, we were talking about the law of worship. And on that time, we explained that Allan Kardec classified the God laws in 10 parts. That classification was according to their similarities and based on data the spirits themselves, provide to Kardec. They said the natural laws they covers all circumstances in life. And the last law is the most important one, right? It's most important because it sums up all the other ones, all the other laws. But my first impression was that Kardec round down the laws to 10 to match with the 10 commandments. But in reality, there are 12 laws. We had law number 10, law of justice, law number 11, law of love, and law number 12, the law of charity. I was completely wrong. We humans, we used to, actually this is in fact is a characteristic of the incarnate spirit. We used to separate things. Just as we separate justice if there was a separate instance, and love as if there was another law, and charity if it was a third element. However, there is a single law, just one law, unique, indivisible. The law of justice, love, and charity. a very complex and powerful law, full of nuance. Of all natural laws, is the only one that has this compound name. The title of this moral law, this title, it's already an invitation for us to think, to reflect. The law is of justice, love, and charity. But I don't know if you notice, but love is the center. Why? Well, because love is the most powerful force in the universe. And the universe is ruled by love. Love is this force that sustains and supports the infinite creation. Love is the divine essence. So Emmanuel said on the book Pensamento e Vida that pure love is the reflection of the Creator, so the reflection of God in all creatures. It's a reflection of God in us. But why reflection? Because no matter how much your love is, will never embrace the infinite. Only God is capable of love everything. Only God is capable of loving the infinite of diversity. Our love, it's always limited. Always. You can love the whole planet, but it's not the infinite. Our love is a process of communion with God. We experience, we feel God when we love. Just fall in love with someone. You're gonna feel it. You're gonna understand what I'm talking about. And the most important one, God loves us. God loves you. God loves you no matter what. No matter if you're good or not, there is no exclusion in God's love. No discrimination. You can decide from now on, do all atrocities and do only bad things, do only wrong things. But that is not going to alter the God's love for you at all. We're loved by God, period. So, if the love is the center, what is justice and charity? Justice and charity are instruments of love. We're going to understand that better when we talk about justice and charity. Just hold on. Okay, let's start with the justice first. So on the question 873 of Spiritist book, Kardec asked if the sentiment of justice is in nature itself or is a result of acquired ideas. And the answer was, it's so natural that you revolt. You're gonna see that in a minute, right? So I have a video to show you guys about that. So that you revolt at the thought of injustice. So the moral progress develops the sentiment, but it doesn't create it. God put it, the sentiment of justice in us. He put it in your heart, in the human heart. So the question here is referring of the two ways of interpreting of the notion of justice. through the human history. But what is justice? So justice is respecting the rights of others. But what defines these rights? Kardec had asked that too. They are determined by two things: the human law and the natural law. Let's talk about the natural law first. So the natural law is transcendent. So it's beyond and above our human experience. So it's within us. It is in the animals, it's everywhere in nature. I have a fun video that shows this very clear. It's an experiment. There is two monkeys side by side, and there is a very simple task they need to do. The lady in blue gives the monkey a rock, and the monkey's job is to give the rock back. And if this lady gives both of them a cucumber as a reward for the task, those two monkeys side by side, they are willing to do this 5, 10, 50, 100 times in a row. So cucumber, it's perfectly fine for the monkeys. Of course, they love bananas more than cucumber, right? But if she gives them grapes, if she gives to one of them grapes, and by the way, the monkeys love grapes too. Not more than bananas, but they love grapes. And more than cucumber for sure. So this creates an imbalance between them. So the monkey on the left is going to be the one who's going to get the cucumber. The monkey on the right is going to be the one that's going to get the grapes. Okay? Please pay attention to the one on the left, the one that gets cucumber, and notice that the first piece of cucumber that he gets, it's perfectly fine. The monkey on the left is going to eat that first piece of cucumber, and then you will see the other one gets the grapes. And you will see what's going to happen. Let's see if the video is going to work. Yes, it is. So he gives the rock and gets the cucumber as reward. Fine, he eats the cucumber, no problem. Now the right one needs to give the rock, and he does, and gets a grape. And the left one sees that. So now he gives the rock, he's waiting for get a grape, but gets a cucumber again. And he didn't like it. So the right one needs to give the rock, and there you go. He gets a grape again. And then the left one now looks to the rock. Is something wrong with my rock? No? So, okay. And get cucumber again. This time he didn't even try that. And the right one gets the grape again. So we saw what happened. Once the left monkey saw the other one gets the grape, the monkey feels revolted, angry, right? It thinks that's unjust to get the cucumber for the same task. So the same task need to be paid of the same price. I don't know about you, but the first thing that came in my mind was the parable of the workers in the vineyard, right? Or workers of the last hour. So if you never read this parable, you should. It's a must, right? But like I said, this feeling of justice, the natural law, is within us. It's in the animals. It's everywhere in nature. Everywhere. So the second notion that Kardec asked on that question, it's about the human law. So the second notion is acquired. is constructed by us, by human beings. So through human history, we have been established this notion of justice. But we can say more or less that everything started with Moses. So far, you see the font it's not quite right, but sorry about that. But anyway, everything started with the Moses. And so far humanity has received 3 revelations, right? 3 essential and different aspects. Moses brought us the notion of justice. So there are 2 distinct parts of the Mosaic law. First is the law of God, received by Moses on Mount Sinai. And the second one is the civil or disciplinary law established by Moses himself. Okay? The law of God is invariable. It's for all times, all nations. The other one, established by Moses, it's appropriated for the customs. It's appropriated for the customs and the character of the people on a specific time. So the second part of the law, it changed with the times. It changed when we evolve. The law of God, it's formulated in the 10 follow commandments. People of the Moses time were like children, right, in the human understanding. So they were on the childhood of the mankind. So, and because of that, the message had to be in a such way they could understand, being very explicit and profound at the same time. The intention was to be a compass, and Moses was forced to use fear to put order, to control his troublesome and undisciplinary people. Note that the 10 commandments, they have a negative tone. It tells us what not to do. So nowadays, science proves that we get better results if you don't use the word no. Right? Let's say I don't want to have this thought that's in my head anymore. So if I keep thinking about this, I don't want to have this thought, I don't want to have this thought, it could work, but it's much better, it's more efficient if I think I want to change my mind. I want to change my mind. It's the same thing, but not with this negative tone. Right? So, the first revelation is Moses. Right? And Moses brought us justice. The second revelation, it's love. So Moses told us what not to do. Jesus came to teach us what to do. Love. So Jesus didn't come to destroy the law, that's God's law. He came to fulfill it, to develop, to give the true meaning, and to adapt to the degree of the humankind's advancement. Jesus, our governor, gave us the perfect code of love. If Moses taught us an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, Jesus taught us to give the other face. Jesus taught us if someone takes your shirt, give them the code. If someone forces you to go 1 mile, then go with them 2 miles. Jesus taught us that love covers a multitude of sins. After Jesus, of course, we gave humanity gave a jump in evolution. So nowadays, justice evolved a lot, especially after the French Revolution and more recently the US Constitution, right? Where the notion of universal freedom finally appears. Today, more and more conflicts are resolved by mediation, right? Justice acts as mediator to help the parties themselves to find a solution, find balance, right? And this result, it's often a win-win situation because everyone gets satisfied with the result. But why is better to find a balance? Because justice has a triad, we can say a 3 legs: liberty, equality, fraternity. See, I was using a different font that's in that different than that computer there. That's why it's not matching. But it's okay. I learned that lesson. The next time I'm gonna fix it. But anyway, so justice has these 3 legs: liberty, equality, fraternity. And charity has 3 legs too. Love doesn't have legs. Love has wings. So, liberty consists to being able to do anything that does not hurt or harm others. Lack of freedom means slavery. Too much freedom, we have lack of identity and depression. Consequently, the exercise of the natural laws, the freedom of every man and woman has no bounds other than those that guarantee the other members of society the enjoyment of the same rights. So that leads us to equality. The law must be the same for all, whether it protects or punishes. A lack of equality, we have injustice. Too much equality, we have a uniformed arm of people with no room for diversity. Fraternity. Fraternity is a different level. Okay? It's another level. Moral obligations rather than rights. Bounds rather than laws. Harmony instead contracts. Community instead individuality. Different level. So lack of fraternity, we have this world that we live in. Too much fraternity, then there is no room for effort, for individual growth. So everything needs to be in balance. Immanuel Kant, a German philosopher who is a central figure in the modern philosophy, he has this principle called universalized ability. he intends to find a universal form that could summarize what is fair and what's not fair, what is unjust. According to Kant, no one can make exceptions for oneself. The philosophical max on which someone acts should always be considered to be a universal law, without exception. Got it? No, confused, I know. I was. So I'm going to try to explain that in a different way. No one cannot allow oneself to do a particular action unless the reason for the action is appropriated and should become a universal law. Still confused? Okay, I'm gonna try in a common language with an example. Every time that I'm in doubt if what I'm doing or I'm about to do it's right or wrong, it's fair or not fair, then I should ask myself the second question. If all people in the world, the 7.7 billion in the world, if they do exactly the same thing that I'm about to do it, it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. Right? So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that I'm managing some public money, okay? And I really need this extra money to renovate the TSS, because TSS is falling apart, right? So it's just a hypothetical scenario, right? I am a software developer, I don't manage any money, any public money, and the TSS is not falling apart like you can see here, okay? It's just hypothetical scenario. So anyway, I decide to steal money, that money, but a little bit, so little that nobody's gonna notice. Is that right or wrong? It's wrong. Because if it's 7.7, see, everybody in the world decide to do the same thing, it's gonna be terrible, right? So in that case, if it's wrong, it's unfair, it's not just, so I should not do it. This is what Kant was trying to pass to us. Okay, so no one should steal, no matter urgent or desperate the circumstance, because permitting oneself to steal makes stealing a universally acceptable fact, and we cannot do that, right? So the right conduct is the value that respect freedom, liberty, respect equality, and respect fraternity, and which can be universalized. Whew. This just seems complicated. No, it's not. The traffic rules are a very good example. Imagine how wonderful it would be if from your house to TSS you get all green lights. Be nice, right? No, it will be a chaos, right? It will be a disaster. Toronto will become back to a jungle. Everyone is gonna cross the streets at the same time. So green, you can pass. Yellow, you should stop. Red, you should not pass. This is called order. Order. Order generates harmony. Order generates balance. It establishes equality. Why do we have traffic rules? That everyone can move safely. It's red for me right now, but it will turn green in a minute. I will have time to go, and I will have time to stop. Because my time to stop is the time of the other people to pass. And my time to pass is the time of the others to stop. Equality. So why there's an aspect of justice in the universe? So that everyone can evolve safely without oppressing the others, without obstructing the others. Okay, now with this notion, you can tell me, hey Marco, I respect liberty, I respect equality, and I respect fraternity. And also everything that I do, it can be universalized. So I'm a just. Really? Let's check that. Kardec asked the Spiritists, what will be the character of those who practice justice in all its purity? And the answer is, to be a truly just, you need to follow Jesus' example. Why? Because they need to practice charity and love towards everybody. Without that, there is no real justice. So that means is justice is just the 1/3. We need to do the other 2/3. Justice is improved in love, and love is expressed in charity. If you do not fulfill the threefold system, then you are not, and you do not comply with the law of justice, love, and charity. That's why our justice have very few elements of love, very few, right? Very small, and almost nothing of charity. That's why it's human and not a divine justice, right? Because the divine justice has all elements of justice, all elements of love, all elements of charity in the maximum degree, all mixed together. Let's talk about charity now. When we hear the word charity, immediately we think about giving money, giving money. This is typical of a child, right? Children have a concrete thinking. Children, they do not understand abstract or level abstractions. So the same way is a spirit that is in the spiritual infancy, right? In spiritual or religion matters, he or she is a child and only understand these concrete concepts. So when they hear the word charity, they think, give money, give money. Which is not bad, because if I'm hungry and I have no money, someone donation could kill my hunger, right? So, however, Kardec asked the question 886, what is the true meaning of the word charity as Jesus understood? Why Jesus? Of course, because Jesus is the spiritual governor of the planet. So he is the God's spokesman on earth. So he has the God's word. He expressed the divine idea. So what is charity for Jesus. Benevolence towards all, indulgence toward imperfections of others, forgiveness for offense. So benevolence, indulgence, and forgiveness. The three legs of charity. So the third revelation is Spiritism. Bring us charity. Charity is love and action. So Moses told us what not to do. Jesus told us what to do, and Spiritism came to teach us why to do it. The Spiritism maxim is, without charity there is no salvation. Without any doubt, Spiritism places charity above faith itself. Because charity is accessible to all. Everybody can do charity. Everybody. Independent or any particular belief system. With this maximum rule, all men and women are brothers and sisters. And whatever may be the way in which they worship the Creator, they worship God, they hold their hands to one to another and pray for one to another. So let me read it again. Without charity there is no salvation. I did not say without justice there is no salvation. I did not say without love there is no salvation. Without charity there is no salvation. What is the true meaning of charity? Benevolence towards all, indulgence towards the imperfection of others, forgiveness of offense. Benevolence. Benevolence to all. To all. How about that guy at work that I don't like it? To all. Benevolence towards all. How about the criminals? Criminals too. No exclusions. Goodness to all. It's very clear that love is the center. Justice is one arm and charity is the other arm. If you just respect freedom, equality, fraternity, with charity we have indistinct kindness. No exclusions. But how about that guy that has a sexual orientation different than mine? Benevolence towards all. But he belongs to the Conservative Party. I'm liberal. Towards all. Indistincted goodness. Indistincted because there are no exclusions on the love of God. The love of God is universal and infinite. For a very simple reason. And I'm going to give you guys a good news. Right? Every imperfection you have today has an expiry date. So you will get rid of all your imperfection because our destiny is perfection. God created us simple and ignorant, but destiny to perfection. We're gonna be a pure spirit, perfect. Not perfection in the God's level, of course, but perfect. Perfection is eternal. Imperfection is temporary. God looks at the orange seed and sees the tree full of oranges. God sees what He created, not what's being built. Got it? So, second leg of charity, indulgence. Indulgence toward imperfections. Why indulgence? Well, the penal code of the future life on the heaven and hell, Kardec said that every imperfection makes you suffer. And depending of your imperfections, you'll be happy or unhappy. So that means is if you have 10 imperfections, you suffer more, you will be more unhappy than another person that only have 5 imperfections. It means the moral, we're talking about moral imperfection, not physical imperfection. Moral imperfection is pain. It's a suffering. A selfish person suffers. A selfish people are emotional pirates. They crave for your attention, but they don't give any. It's a suffering. An angry person suffers because life for them, it's a war, a constant war. Instead of have a battle here and there, they are always fighting. So we're not built for this. This is not part of our essence. We're designed to love. Indulgence is compassion. Indulgence is compassion for the pain that other people still carry because of their imperfections. We are full of imperfections. We should not take ours and other people's imperfections seriously. What a mother or a father does when they see their child fall when learning to walk, do they take seriously? No. Why? Because they know the child will overcome that. The child will learn how to walk. Right? So we know we are immortal. And now we know that we will overcome our imperfections sooner or later. So why we still have no indulgence towards our own and the other imperfections? Why? Charity, third leg. Forgiveness. My favorite one. Forgiveness of offense. Hurt people hurt people. You probably heard that phrase before somewhere, right? Hurt people hurt people. Unfortunately, it's a sad truth. Hurt people hurt others because they themselves have been hurt. And unfortunately, we have this painful conclusion that to be human, it's hurt other and to be hurt by others. That's what it means to be us, to be human being. Each one of us has been hurt in one degree or another. That damage causes us to become defensive and self-protective. And we may lash out others. We may attack others. Hurting becomes this vicious cycle. But charity can help us, can break that cycle. How? Forgive. Forgiveness of offense. Our body has this powerful power to heal itself. If you hurt yourself, and my wife and I, we just moved into a new place, right? So I cut myself, I don't know how many times, to open and close cardboard box, right? So if you hurt yourself or get hurt, most scrapes heal well and do not scar. Minor scrapes takes like 3 to 7 days to heal. So healing is the body forgiving to aggression. So if our body, our envelope that cover our souls, that cover our spirit, it's capable to regenerate, it's capable to forgive, why not our spirit? Why so difficult for us to forgive? Let's say that you get hurt by someone. You freeze that moment and you save in your mind, in your hard disk of your brain, right? So you save that. 1 year later, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years later, you still carry that frozen image in your mind. Believing that person that hurts you is still the same way. But that person now is a different person. Because people change. People regret their mistakes. People repent. They become better. They improve themselves. They evolve. Forgiving is taking the weight off your shoulders. It doesn't mean that you have to forget, right? I'm just saying forgive. A weight that holds you. A weight that stalls your evolution. Maybe you may have deserved to be hurt, but definitely you do not deserve to carry this weight forever. Please forgive. So, wrapping up, love of justice, love and charity. A single law, unique, indivisible. Liberty, equality, fraternity, expressing the element of justice, which is given with discipline, order, respect, and can be universalized. It's that simple. Justice. Justice is improved in love, and love is expressed in charity. Charity expresses itself in benevolence, indulgence, and forgiveness. So when you say, I love you, you're just making a promise. Because in reality, that person needs to hurt you, to offend you, and then, and only after that, that you're going to express your love. Because love expresses itself to, oops, oh my god, it got crazy now. Okay, sorry. Love expresses itself through forgiveness. Love expresses itself through indulgence. And love is expressed by unlimited goodness without distinction, without choice. So, Spiritism speaks for the future. We are preparing our future today. Okay, these teachings that we'll try to put in practice from now on, I hope, they help us to improve. It's gonna make us better. Let's do that. The results we will see later on. maybe in our next life, because we don't see the results always right now. Okay? But the law of justice, love, and charity prevail of all things, soon or later. Thanks to Spiritism, now our eyes are open. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Marx, for the lecture. It was great inspiration for the entire weekend. Any questions? We do have time for questions or comments. If there is anyone in the internet with questions, please let us know. We have Mateus there helping. No question? Anyone? Yeah, go
I
ahead.
have a comment to make about the video that you showed.
The monkeys.
About the monkeys. So we're very good and understand the monkey on the left, but actually the real problem there is the monkey on the right, right? Because like you said, the justice of the injustice is so natural in us that when we feel it, like we revolt,
yes,
right?
yeah.
But we don't revolt when it's with our neighbors. So the monkey on the right is eating the grapes, no problem at all. And he could also say, hey, why just me?
Yeah.
Why is the injustice in there? So we're very good at recognizing injustice against ourselves. So that'll revolt. But when it's not happening with us,
You just said,
right?
you just englobe what fraternity is.
It's fraternity, exactly.
Exactly.
Right? So the big problem there is actually the monkey on the right, who's just keep getting the grape and doesn't see
I don't care about him,
yeah,
right?
No,
I don't care about
but
him.
it's needed. There's no injustice here. I'm fine, right? So, the video is actually great because it shows two facts, right? One that yes, we're very good at recognizing injustice right away, but only one happens with us, and that's what it represents the monkey on the right. We still have to work on recognizing when the injustice is with the others,
Yeah.
and then extends the charity, the fraternity to all of us.
Yes.
Right?
Good point.
Thank you, thank you.
Anyone else? Any other comments or questions? All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Marx. We're gonna get prepared for the passes. So we're gonna disconnect. In the meantime, I'm gonna ask you guys who are watching us through the internet to do a final prayer and close your session. Thank you.